descend and maintain 2074.
Who am I?
Comet 504, descend and maintain 3000. 3000, Comet 504.
Answer Captain 724 is our traffic about
In my 20s, I dream of flying a plane. Due to having glasses, I thought it's not possible. In mid-2016, I started to have foggy vision. After I checked out, the doctor said I have cataract in both my eyes. Wow! I really never expected this. I felt like taking a trip to the moon, jumping up and down. I'm filled with excitement. But the unexpected turns out into my reality. The cold, hard truth. I need to step into divorce. My mom said her final goodbye, and my family broke apart. I stepped into a solitude journey. This is the best journey I ever experienced. It was super challenging. My achievement, the award-winning author, from housewife to pilot, the beginning.
Comet 504, descend and maintain 3000. 3000, Comet 504.
I'm Keiko. I'm here holding your hands, guiding you every steps to discover your potential, harness that energy, bring it to your reality, and make your dreams come true.
Comet 504, reduce speed of 170 for tower space. You get following Boeing 727, 1 o'clock, 6 miles right base, descending on 3500.
Hello and welcome to Tuesday with Keiko. Today, my guest speaker is Julie. Julie, the multi-award-winning hypnotherapist and coach, podcast host, speaker, and #1 international best-selling co-author, founder of Millieside Therapy and Coaching. She's a disruptive therapist and coach who works with people who feel stuck in cycles of stress, overwhelm, or anxiety, especially those who have tried traditional therapies and felt like they weren't getting anywhere. She used a unique transformative approach that helps her clients break through those barriers quickly so they can start feeling calm, confident, and in control of their lives again. It's fast and permanent. By using both subconscious and conscious coaching strategies, she's able to quickly get to the root of the problem, empowering her clients to build confidence, break free from limiting patterns, and thrive. She believes that our whole body reflects our subconscious mind. Unresolved feelings and emotion can become trapped, manifesting as both psychological and physical conditions. Welcome, Julie.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you here. And tell the audience a little bit about you.
Oh, it's always a fun question, isn't it? So, so I spent pretty much 35 years working in the corporate world until 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. And I was thrown one of my wonderful curveballs that we get in life. And found myself unemployed. Now, I was the main breadwinner, so that became a bit of a challenge. But I knew I had two ways that I could think about this. I could either, wallow in my self-pity, or I could make changes in my life that I'd always wanted, which was to run my own business and have my own therapy and coaching business. So that's how my journey started.
I see. Yes. Into business, there are a couple of challenges. Yeah, and especially especially when comes to promoting your business into the social media, and you have to know what text color you need to use, what font you need to use. All these are very crucial. You need to use the A/B testing on Facebook, on Instagram.
It's interesting though, because I mean, before that, I had LinkedIn that I literally just used whenever I needed to look for a new job. And then I had Facebook that was a few holiday snaps, pictures of my dog, and that was about it. I was never really a scroller. I didn't have any of the other social medias. And then when I started the business, it was like, all I want to do is help people. And it was like, once I'm qualified, they'll just be queuing up outside my door. But sadly, that's not how it works, is it? And it's like,
That's right.
well, Julie, you need to do social media. And I'm like, what? I don't like social media. Yeah, but you need to. And you need to do videos. And I'm like, what? I don't do video, you know. And it was like, when I laugh now when I look back on it.
Yeah.
Now I've got pretty much every single social media, my own YouTube channel. And it proves though, because I didn't get I started my journey at 52. So I always like to say to people, it really doesn't matter how old you are. It's never too late to start following your purpose and passion.
So true.
Yeah. But it's like, who knew you had to do all that stuff? Who knew that you had to be an accountant? Who knew you had to be a marketing guru? Who knew that you had to be a social media expert? Who knew you had to do sales calls? I mean, what's that all about? You know, I never sold anything before in my life, really. So it's like,
so true.
So
true. Because I remember when I was, I think I just graduated from school, and I stepped into sales. And at that moment, sales, no, it's not my favorite. And I remember I worked in the antique shop, and the boss lady, she was fantastic with sales. She was so patient with the client and, you know, the walk-in customer. So she was so patient, and she explained every detail of the product in those antique pieces in the shop. She was marvelous. And I guess, you know, there's a reason why things happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, now when I look back, oh yeah, I worked under this boss that she's good at sales before.
Yeah. And I think when you're trying to sell something that's your own, it's even harder, isn't it? Because you're emotionally attached to it.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's someone else's stuff, it's kind of, you don't have that emotional attachment.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, huge learning curve. But to do what I'm doing now, though, I've had to go and do a lot of work on myself. So once I took the redundancy, I embarked on business coaching because I didn't know anything about running a business. And then I started on my own personal therapy journey. But I did everything to retrain myself, because probably about 10 years prior to that, I did qualify as a talking therapist, but I carried on working up in the city, and I used to do it as a volunteer 1 day a week until it just got too much for me. But I liked it because I didn't do it as a career at that point, because financially I didn't think it was going to be viable, but I was still earning the money in the city, but I had my do-gooding part that gave me that element that made me feel good about myself, that I was giving back, because I didn't get money for it. It was all volunteering, but I always loved that element of helping people. And at work, I was always like the go-to person. So that's kind of when I wanted to go out and do something for myself. That seemed to be like the natural thing to do, because that was my purpose. That was my passion. And funny enough, I do interviews, as you know, and I had someone on one of mine recently, and she pointed out to me that, you know, the universe would have been nudging me for a long time to actually get off my ass and do this. And they probably was like, yay, she's trained as a counselor, this will be it. And then I didn't do it. And then it was like, yay, she's doing it. No, she's got to do it this time. This is a big push. She's got to go and do it. And I've learned so much over the last few years about myself, understanding the beliefs that held me back, and also about the mind-body connection, which I didn't really understand before.
True.
which
So
is very
true.
linked, to the whole of my journey, really.
And it's like a whole huge topic that we never thought of, we never understand, what's going
No.
on. And now that like now I step into business, I see how everything is connected. Because every time in the past, I used to hear people saying, or in the social media, someone will mention everything is connected, and I don't see that because my vibration is not there yet. And for me is in 2016 when I start to have the cataract forming in my eyes, and I knew that it will come to a time where if I go out, I won't be able to see the cars coming ahead of me. I won't be able to see people walking ahead of me, and that is the reason why I step into meditation and to basically ground my energy. So when something occurs, I won't get scared. And it's so true. It does work. However, method you use to do meditation, it will work. Because there was once I remember there was one incident where I was walking along the roadside and a car passed by me and someone suddenly screaming out loud. No, I never got a shock. Yeah, because usually in this kind of scenario, yeah, you will definitely get a shock, because someone just scream out of nowhere. And no, I never. I'm grounded. I know. I mean, I knew that I'm grounded, and no, never get a shock, and I never get a surprise. So that means it's like the effort that I put in to do the meditation, it works. And grounded is so important because it's like you need to, because it's like what all the other coaches said, you need to use that manifestation to manifest whatever you want into your reality. Yeah, this is so powerful.
It is very powerful, but what people don't understand is you can't just say what you want and put out a shopping list. You have to
No.
believe it and feel it and everything. And
Yes.
you can consciously want something, but if your subconscious doesn't agree with it, then that will always win. Subconscious mind will always win. So that's
Yes.
why we have to work on our limiting beliefs and everything else so that we can align our conscious and our subconscious mind so they're not fighting. And then you can start, letting nature take its course, so to speak.
Yes. See, and many people never realize it all starts from within, not starts
Yeah.
from outside of us. It's all within.
And this is the thing. I mean, I spent most of my life up until the point, early 50s, like living my life in my head. And what I mean by that is I didn't meditate. I did exercise, but I didn't do anything else other than that, really. But I used to try and think my way out of every situation. I didn't understand the mind, body, and soul connection. I'd heard the words, but I didn't really know what it really, really meant, right? So I didn't get then that I need to take time out for myself. I need to chill. I need to relax.
Yeah.
And I need to calm my mind down so that I can listen to my body and feel my
Yeah.
body, and most of us, unless you've worked on yourself and you know all this stuff, that's what most people are doing. And that's why we're on that treadmill all the time. And then we start getting stressed and we get anxious, and then we start getting more psychological, physical conditions because we're not looking after ourselves. We're not taking ourselves back to taking time out and being quiet and being present and just sitting in the moment and not worrying about the past all the time or worrying about the future. Because that's all anxiety and that is, and stress.
That's right.
fear, isn't it? Worrying about what may or may not happen in the future.
Most of the time, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas when someone's depressed, that's more going back to the past all the time, isn't it?
Yes. That's right.
But it's again, whether you're forward worrying or past worrying, you're not in the present moment, and that's when we need to be. That's where we need to do the meditations and do our daily rituals or something that's going to help us feel happy. Really, it's about what you need to do each day to make you happy, isn't it?
Yes, because it's like when you are feeling positive, you're feeling happy, that is where you are able to ground that idea into your reality. It's just like planting a seed, and you have to nurture the seed. You have to talk to the seed, saying that, you know, I love you, and the seed will grow into a beautiful, like for example, if you plant a strawberry seed, you know, you plant strawberry, and it's amazing when I was so happy, you know, when I saw the two leaves. It's so amazing that, you know, from a seed it comes out the two leaf, and then slowly, you know, you'll see the whole branch coming out
until eventually you can pick the fruit, right? You can reap what you sow, sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah,
that's right. And yeah, that is how things work in the universe. And everything comes from the unknown or unseen. Even for us, we comes from the unknown or unseen. Yeah, the spiritual, so-called, I'll call it spiritual world. We come from there. And usually women are the portal that brings the unseen to the reality. For those women that give birth, they experience that you can't see the baby inside the tummy, even though you are eager to find out, you know, how you know this little being is like. But no, it has to be in your tummy for about 9 months.
yeah. And it is quite amazing when you do, in the end, decide to stop fighting the ego and stop fighting everything that's going on and start living your life. It is transformational. And finding your purpose and passion is so important, because many of us spend years, maybe all our lives, doing something that we don't enjoy. And that's what I've found myself in. I mean, I'm not saying all my 35 years in the corporate world I hated. That's not true. But quite a lot of it, if I'm honest. But it just didn't. I was in the finance industry, and as far as I was concerned, it was really boring. The bit I loved was being around people and making those, building your team and, you know, building relationships. And I used to, like the last 10 years, I was a project manager, and I used to have some horrible projects, but I always delivered them because I always had a good team around me. Like, when it's like anything, isn't it? You're only as good as the people around you. You know, if I asked someone to do something, they would, because I treated them with respect, and, you know, we liked each other. I made that effort to get to know people, whereas a lot of people don't, and they just wonder why people don't do things for them. And it's like, well, you have to put the effort in to start with. So I felt trapped a lot of the time, because I was in that financial treadmill where I was earning pretty good money, not, you know, not always fantastic, but pretty good. And to get off that treadmill, it was going to take something like it being out of my control to do that. And that's what happened. But I'm so glad it did, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be following my passion. I wouldn't get the opportunity every day to help transform people's lives. And that's what it's all about for me. It's about helping others. I've been given a gift that taken me a long time to to get there and to really utilize it. And now I've got it. You know, I have that gift where I can help people transform their lives, and you have to make the most of that. And it's just about getting more clients to help, really. That's the main thing.
I guess that is how you gain clarity of what you love doing, because to find out that clarity, it's not like you know, it's obvious over there for you to see, oh, I get the clarity. No, it's basically a subtle nudge, you know, telling you, yes, you have to do something. You have to contribute to the society.
Exactly. And it's, you know, some people just think that the world, universe, God, whatever, owes them a favor, but actually it doesn't work like that, does it? You know, and we are an energy. Our whole body is an energy, right?
Yeah.
So if you're putting out negative energy all the time, like, oh, poor me, I'm so sad, I'm so everyone hates me.
You attract the negative energy to you.
Exactly. The more you put out, you're going to get more of. So this is when we have to learn to spin it and start making changes in our lives and changing the narrative, changing the story that we're telling ourselves, changing the way we think, changing the way we talk, because the language that you use is so important. You know, if we're talking badly about ourselves all the time, then that's what our brain's going to understand. It's not going to question it. It'll just take it on board. So if you tell yourself you're rubbish and you're stupid and you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too ugly, you're too thick, whatever, that's just a story you're telling yourself. That's just a belief. It's not true, because a belief is just something that you believe. So why can't you start believing something more positive? You know?
Everything we learn, everything we see is true.
Exactly. And that's quite right, because everything's either a learned behavior or a belief that we've been given. And by that, I mean, like religion, for example, you get brought up with a certain religion because that's what your parents believed and their parents believed. But that's just something that you've been told. Doesn't mean it's true. So as you start understanding that, you can make your own decisions, can't you, on what you want to believe? But some of them will be beliefs, though, that you've taken on yourself. And that's the magic of what I do with my clients, right? Excuse me, I woke up with a really stinking cold this morning. I don't know where it's come from. And that's
the changes of the weather.
Yeah, but what when I take my clients on this subconscious journey, we're going to a place, say they're really struggling with anxiety, for example, we're going to take them back in time to when they first got anxiety. And normally it will be in the first 7 years of their life. Because that's when the core of our beliefs are created, but without logic, our brain's not developed enough, right? But what happens is an event will happen, and then there will be a physical feeling that's attached to it. Now that might be like heart palpitations, turmoil in the stomach, or something like that. But what basically we do is we go back and find that event. We don't take away the event, but we detach those feelings and emotions. So you just don't react like that anymore. Because when you're an adult and you're having an anxiety attack, the chances are it's a reaction that's stored in your body when you're 5. So then you sort of take that attachment, if you like, away, and then you just don't go down that neuro pathway anymore. So you just don't do it.
But how do a client, how do someone take that away?
Because when we have a belief, it's the physical feelings, emotions that we've attached to that belief. So when we're doing the session, we will identify the belief that's come up. So if their belief, for example, is I'm not good enough, what we'll do is we'll analyze that and we'll go, well, let's look at why you think that. And then we'll do lots of different tools and techniques to reverse that feeling. Right? So we will understand the limiting belief and reframe it. And we'll also remove the emotional feelings that are attached to that scene, so you don't have those physical reactions in your body anymore. So we've identified it and we've freed you from it there and then in the session. And then what they do is they get a recording, a bespoke recording that I record for them.
Yeah.
Which has got lots of information that we've already discussed in a prior session, anything that's come up in a session. But we also put in there, what would your life be like if you didn't have anxiety, for example? And then they go, oh, well, I'd love to do this. So then we put that in the recording. But the core of the recording is empowering beliefs like you're amazing, you're phenomenal, because your mind learns by repetition. So when they get the recording, their job is to listen to that every single day for at least 3 weeks, if not more. And then because they're hearing that they're amazing, they're phenomenal every single day, their belief just changes to be, I'm amazing, I'm phenomenal, I can do anything I want. you know. And if you want to be that speaker, you want to write the book like we've done, it's like changing that belief. I mean, I speak on stages like you, and it's like I never knew I wanted to do that. But once I uncovered my limiting belief, which I wasn't good enough and I wasn't worthy, my doors started to open up to me, doors that I didn't even know I wanted to open up to me. And this is the beauty of when you work on yourself and you start living from your heart and not in here, then you start doing things that actually, when you look back, like you with your, you know, wanting to be a pilot, once upon a time, you wouldn't have even known that's what you wanted, or you decided you want to do it, but something had to happen to make you really believe that you could do it. And once you opened your mind and changed your beliefs that you could do it, your world started opening up. Then you started to write a book. Then you started to speak on stages. Then you did a podcast. You didn't start off going, I want to be a pilot, and then I want to have a podcast, and then I want to write. Because you just don't know that at the time, do you?
That's right, yeah. Because it's like, I remember that time when I was 20, I have this dream of flying a plane. And I went to look up, the flying school. But then, I had glasses on, so there's no point for me to go any further. So that is, what was in my thought. And I thought, that wouldn't happen because I had glasses since 7. So I thought that dream would never come true. And after I had the cataract operation, everything changed.
She could see clearly now. So this is the thing, isn't it? And this is about never giving up, isn't it? It's about if you have got a dream, don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just know that's what you want to do. So you put out your request. In your case, I want to be a pilot. In my case, I want to help transform people's lives, right? I want financial stability and financial abundance. I want to go traveling. I'm quite late in my life really to be, next month I'm going to be 56. Right. Quite late to be starting in this game really. But also I wanted to have something that I could go traveling with, and I could do it, and I could do my work anywhere in the world, right?
That's right.
And as a result of the journey I've been on, I've got a book in the making as well. And the story in my book is all about my dog behind me, Luther, who sadly has passed away now. But he decided when I started embarking on my transformational journey that he would be part of it. Like you said,
it's amazing.
When you said at the beginning about when the things you have to do in a big business, it was like, well, you've got to come up with a logo. And I'm like, ugh. And then someone said to me, well, make the logo something that means something to you. So then I made it. It was you can't really see it on here. This is my old logo, but it's
okay, I see.
It's a silhouette of me and Luther, but it's actually a silhouette of this picture here.
Oh, nice.
And then once he died, my Austin, my website man, done me a new one, but he's still both of us in it. But when I started, and I had my first website, he was all over it. And it just evolved that he become my business partner because he was in my logo. Whenever I did social media with him, let's be honest, I got more blooming views than I do when I'm on my own. And I missed that after he passed away.
Yeah, sure.
But when I started seeing clients, I've got a summer house down the garden that was our bar and family place, but I've turned it into my therapy room. He just decided he was coming with me, and he was just phenomenal. And when I had clients that were like really, getting upset, and he would get up and he would put his face to them, or he'd put his head on their feet, or he'd just stand there so that they could he just knew what to do. But because he was a Great Dane, he was very big, and he was like a local celebrity around where I live. Everyone knew him, and he was so gentle. He was so handsome, and he helped so many people in his life. But when he died, it threw me. My business started to get some good traction, and then it just went because it just hit me really, really hard.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And he not only was he just a family pet, he was with me 24/7 wherever I was. He was, and I've since found out actually that he's one of my spirit guides. So he's still here with me. But one of my clients registered a star for him in his name. And you know, I was saying earlier about I didn't get the whole mind-body connection.
Yeah.
I was always living in my head. In my therapy training, I really tried so hard to do this mind-body connection, but it just didn't happen until one day we were doing it like a session, and they went, imagine you're looking for your star of origin or your favorite star, and I suddenly went, oh my God, I've got my loofah star. And then from that moment, I could start connecting. I just felt this instant connection. My body went a bit fuzzy. And from there, that's when kind of like my spiritual journey kind of started. And actually, the day after he died, I just got this message that said, Julie, you've got to write a book. It was my voice. It's the most bizarre thing. You've got to write a book. And it's about loofah, and it's about loofah's life. But how he helped. Right. And then I just had these flashes coming round the side, and in those was words of what people had said. So it said, like, the book's about Luther, you get all your stories of people's memories of Luther, but also it's about other people that have got other animals that help transform people's lives.
Wow.
So like, okay, right. So I went on social, right, I've been given this message, and then all these stories started coming in. And I got a really lovely lady called Tia to help me write the book, because I didn't know anything about writing a book. And she give it all to me, and I'll start. So she did. We've been backwards and forwards with it now, and we're almost done. We just need to look at the publishing side of it. But now it turned into a book about. It's a book about people losing a pet, the grief of losing a pet.
Yeah.
About how Luther transformed my life and other people's lives while he was alive, but also how he's transformed my life, my family's life, but my clients' lives in his life, because it's helped me go to that next level of my spiritual journey, which I can share with my clients.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, animal, it is really amazing that, once you have the special connection with animal, and they play such a huge role in your life. It's like, my cat, Yuki, my mom, she didn't like animals at home because of the fur, because it's everywhere you'll get the fur. So my mom never liked animal. And there was one day a cat ran into our house and came to the bed. Then I was wondering, would it be nice if I got a cat? That question was in my mind. And then until I married Harry, my ex, and living in the Netherlands, he loved cats. So when I was here, he got two cats, Bini and Mookie. And at that time, no, I'm not so connected to both of them. Somehow, the connection is not so strong. So and until Mookie passed away, she got the cancer in the mouth. So it's like, after she passed away, we got Yuki. It's from my friend. Her cat gave birth. So it is a red cat, a ginger cat. And I heard that people saying that ginger cat is something special. they kind of like how should I put it? Like they are a goal chaser, and they are opportunity seekers.
Well, the universe obviously decided that you was going to have a cat then. And it's funny you say that, though, because my son always wanted a dog. And we lived in a different house. We've been in the house we're in at the moment. We've been in here about 11 years. But prior to that, the other house used to say, nah, the garden's not big enough. Anyway, when we moved into this house, it was like, Mum, come on, because we've got quite a long garden now. And I was like, yeah, give us a chance. We've only just moved in. So we moved in the August. And 2 days before Christmas, we got burgled. And it was like, oh, nice. Our first Christmas in our new house. I'd been so organised. I'd got all the presents for the boys. They was all wrapped up. They was all in sacks. And they took the whole lot. And when that happened, I went to Josh, do you know what? We're going to get a dog. And then by February, Luther was in our house. And that's also quite important, I think, in his whole story and his whole journey, that anyone that has been burgled will know that it's horrendous. And it probably took us about 2 years before we didn't feel sick every time we pulled up on the drive, thinking it happened again. You know, and if it hadn't have been for that, again, it was something that wasn't very nice. But if it hadn't been for that, he probably wouldn't have arrived in our family.
Sure.
And then, you know, the story of what's happened probably wouldn't have happened. So sometimes you have to take the crap, don't you, to, you know, like you did with your eyes and everything else. It's like, sometimes the crap comes, but it's about how you deal with that crap and what you make of it. Because sometimes, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there's times when you know, things happen, like, come on, seriously, what's that all about? I get that. But most of the time, something happens to us, it's actually there for us to learn from and to go to the next level, to do something different, you know?
That's right. And it's like, you know, opening, because it's like the opportunity doors has to narrow down. Because if there's 10 doors opening, we wouldn't know which door to choose.
No, and this is it. And like I said to you earlier, right?
Yeah.
When I was in the corporate world, if someone said to me, do you want to write a book? I'd go, no. What do I want to write a book for? Do you want to talk on stages? No.
Yeah.
Well, why would I want to do that? I've got nothing interesting to say. Because I suppose back in the day, I didn't like what I was working with, like the subject matters. There's no way I would have wanted to do that. So I didn't really learn much about it. You know, it's like, don't be so ridiculous. And to think that, you know, I know you feel the same, like having your own YouTube channel, do interview. Why would you, if I was in the corporate world, why would I even think about doing anything like that? Yet fast forward a couple of years, speaking on stages, got my own podcast, got all the socials, write my own book, you know, multi-award-winning therapist and coach. I've won 3 awards now. I never even thought award. Why do I want an award? Why do I need one of those? Well, why not? You know, because before it would have been the around it, wouldn't it? Telling everybody that you know I'm a multi-award-winning therapist and coach.
Yeah.
But that all comes down to the limiting beliefs, right? Because
that's right.
To me, that would, back in the day, someone who was sharing their accolades, if you like, and their success, I would have thought, who do you think you are? You're showing off. But actually, that's not the case at all, is it? If you want
that's not the case.
That's not the case. That's their issue, not yours. Well, that was my issue, but I don't do that anymore because now I'm like, oh, well done. That's brilliant. You know, sharing your success helps other people, doesn't it? And if it helps get more clients to me and builds my brand, then so be it, you know?
It is. I guess it's like when we step into business, it's a whole new world. And there's a lot for us to learn. I mean, that is also, you know, why it's so important to spread love, kindness, and compassion. Because it's like when my mom stepped into Alzheimer's journey, it was so, I mean, for me, it's like, okay, I'm put in a observer position. I won't say it's a great position, because it's like you're seeing, you know, all the ugly side of human being. And that is so harsh. And that also taught me, no matter how other people, how they treat me, because they are facing their own struggle. That is because they didn't know how to deal with their emotion. And that is why they create that kind of unbalanced emotion, and they don't know what to say, and basically it's like that's how they become turn into a harsh person towards another person. Like, for example, my mom, and she was in Alzheimer's. That was not her choice. You get what I mean? Because who will want to get sick? Nobody want to get sick. but then it's like we never knew that, you know, all those choices in our life, what those choices that we made in our life, it leads to, you know, getting sick. Just like what you understand as a therapist, because all those so-called negative response, it start building up inside our body, and it turns into a sickness.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know,
Stress is the biggest killer for that, isn't it? Stress
yes, that's
causes
right. Yeah.
dis-ease in the body. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And you know, I mean, it's like if my mom at that time, she knew all this, perhaps, you know, she won't be stepping into Alzheimer's journey.
No, I agree
And
with
you know,
you.
when it's so hard when I was the observer, it's so hard to see, because it's like I see both sides. I see the you know, how my family taking care of my mom, the frustration they face. I knew how that feel. And also, you know, but the on the other side, my mom's side, is, I mean, it's like she never chose to be an Alzheimer patient,
Mm,
and she did nothing wrong. Why do you treat her so badly? You
yeah.
know, why give her that kind of treatment? Because that was, you know what I saw is, we as a human, we really don't have that kind of tolerance and don't have that kind of patience. And that is why after this, you know, seeing what happened to my mom, I told myself, no, I'm going to step out to help humanity, because it's like, I don't want to end up being sick.
Mm.
Because being sick, you will, it's really shitty lah, what I would say.
It
Because
is. It
you
is, yeah.
treat, yeah, you'll be treated like shit. You'll be treated, you know, without respects. And no, I don't want that.
Mm. And this is the
Yeah.
thing, you're absolutely spot on. And this is what people don't understand, that when
Mm,
we don't look after ourselves, and by looking
mm,
after ourselves, I mean eating well,
yeah.
exercising, meditating, but most importantly, taking time out for ourselves, then
Mm,
what happens is, as we get older, we just get sicker and sicker, because
mm,
we have to free ourselves from those trapped feelings and emotions, right?
that's right.
Our body is an energy, like I said earlier, right? But
Yeah.
if it's stuck, there's all blockages. We're not in flow. We're not flowing properly,
Mm,
and that's when illnesses started to come about. But also, it's important to understand that
mm,
your mind's only job is to keep you safe. So what it will do, it will throw things at you to slow you down. For example, so say you're too
mm,
busy being busy, right? What it might do is like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to give you like a really bad sore throat so you can't speak. Because that way you
mm.
won't go work and then you'll take time out. Not a good example for me.
Yes.
But, or I had a client once actually. She had arthritis in one of her, legs, right?
Yeah.
And that, when we did the session on that came out to say that was to slow her down, right?
Mm,
Even arthritis and things. I've done autoimmune
that's
diseases,
right.
skin conditions, you
Yeah.
name it. A lot of them are because there's a part of us that's been created, and it has what we call a role, function, purpose, intention. So it has a reason
Mm,
why it's come into our lives, right? And
mm,
sometimes those parts can be created when we were like 1 or 2 or 3, something like that, right? So you're
yeah.
living your lives on. I had someone who felt she was totally worthless, and that belief was created. That part of her was created when she was 2. So she was in her 60s
Mm,
when I did a session on her. It's crazy.
mm,
Right? But anyway, this particular lady, Chloe, she's one of my testimonials, so I can use her name. She
mm,
got out of the car one day and she kind of like slipped, but she said to
mm.
me, I know I didn't hurt myself. And after that, every time I looked down, every surface looked like really slippery. She said,
Oh.
I knew it was in my head. Anyway, so I bumped into her at an event once and she said, oh, can you do a session on me? So when we looked at the parts of it, because she had
Mm,
started her arthritis, she started to manage it, and she
mm,
was physically getting about a bit more. Her
mm.
brain went, hang on, I gave her that to slow her down, and now she's pushed past that. So I'm going to give her something else. So we labelled it the funny foot, but that had a part, and it was to slow her down because she wasn't listening to the arthritis anymore.
Yeah.
So, and this is what happens: your body will just stack and stack and stack and stack. until eventually it'll kill you, you know. And it's, we need to understand that we can't carry on ignoring our feelings
Yes,
and emotions.
because our body need rest.
Yeah, and we're quite happy to go to the doctors and get more pills to solve the problem, and then we get
that
done
doesn't
and
solve the
we don't know what
problem.
it is. All
Yeah.
that's doing is masking the problem, isn't it? It's about
Yes.
getting to the root of what's really going on and
Mm.
uncovering that. And that's what I do, and that's what's different. And that's why I get a lot of people who have done traditional therapy, and I'm not knocking any other therapy at all, because as I said to you at the beginning, I'm trained in talking therapy myself. But sometimes talking just isn't enough. Sometimes we have to go really, really deep inside. And as I say, I get a lot of clients who said, I've tried all that, but I don't feel any better. So that's sometimes when you need to do something different. And that's when
Yes.
a lot of what I do comes in.
Yeah, like for example, go for travel. That is something different. And when you travel, your it's basically, it's like your whole world turn around. There's so many things you need to do.
Exactly.
Like 2023, there's this promotion in Germany, €9 travel for a month on public transport.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I took that opportunity to travel around southern Germany. I
Wow.
was so glad that I did that. It's amazing, the scenery. I love Konigsee area. It's in the south, quite close to Austria. That area was fantastic, and I visited a couple of cities like Frankfurt, Munich, yeah, a few places, and I met this group of people that they do hiking, so we went hiking together.
Oh, amazing.
A park where all those Jurassic in the past, where all those dinosaur remains is there. So it's like, yeah, it was amazing trip. And
Brilliant. And that's all
yes,
about taking an opportunity, isn't it? Not overthinking
yes,
it, just grabbing
yes,
it with both hands and look at the amazing
yes,
time.
that's right. And
Yeah.
each time I told my ex, when we were still in the marriage, I told her, come, let's go, let's make a trip to somewhere. He thinks too much. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Perhaps it's like the difference between men and women.
I don't
Men are
know.
more
I
on
don't
their
know.
head.
I think in my house at the moment,
Mm,
my husband, if I said, "Oh, come on, let's just sell up and go," I think he would, because we want to
mm,
go. We want to get a camper van and go traveling.
nice. That's nice.
I want, yeah, and do other bits and bobs, but
Yeah.
it's just finding the right way to do it, the right time. But that's me.
Yes.
That's me overthinking.
Yeah.
But
Because it's like, for me, I love that, get a camper van and travel around Europe. But that is not what he likes.
yeah,
And each time we watch those bed and breakfast show on TV, or like those they went to a foreign country to start their life and build a bed and breakfast place. And I really admire those people that take the courage to restart their life in a foreign country.
yeah. In back and beyond with no electricity and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff. I love those programs.
Yes, it
I love
is. I
those
mean,
sort of programs.
it is really nice to see,
Yeah,
we actually, we human, we have that capacity to adapt, but I mean, many of us, I think, we, how to say it, yeah, we think that we need to have a job.
yes. It's that learned
Yeah.
behaviour again, isn't it? That
And
programming.
yes, that
Yeah,
programming stops us from moving forward or
yeah,
doing what we love. It is like, we need to be adaptable,
yeah.
because
We do.
in this world, yeah, you never know what will happen. Like now, the
No.
war is happening, and you never know, how the war will spread. And yeah, just live like, we never lived before. I
Yeah,
think,
you're right. It's just all
yeah,
conditioning, though, isn't it? Like you say, it's just
yes,
all. This is, you need. like an example, one of my other sons is in Australia at the moment, and he came home in the summer for one of his friends' weddings that he went to uni with or school with, and they were all getting married, talking about getting houses and kids and stuff, and he was like, I don't want to do that. And they were looking at him as like, why do you not want to do that? He said, well, because when I go to work at the moment in Australia, I do my job, and then if I've got time, I might go down the beach, or I might go for a drink, and it was like a whole new world that they were like, what? But who's right, who's wrong,
But then it's like you'll come to a time where things change. He'll see the shift, and he will look back. Which choice that I make is right. He will
It was
think of
interesting because when he come home, he hadn't been home for almost a couple of months shy of 2 years. And that was quite a test for him. And I said to him, I'll give you 2 days, and then you're going to be thinking, when am I going back? No. Yeah, I think I was about right. And it was because everything, when you're going away and you're having fun and you're doing things, you think everything's changed for everybody at home, but it hasn't. When you come home, everyone's doing exactly the same thing they were doing before. I remember when I was 21, I went traveling to Australia for a year with.
Oh, nice!
I know, right? And I went with like who ended up being my first husband, my son's dad.
Oh,
I've divorced from him now with Andy.
Okay.
Anyway, fast forward. But me and Kevin went, and we had the most amazing time. And I remember going back to visit people afterwards, like a year later, and like nothing changed. They was in exactly the same job. It's like, no, I've not really done that. Might have had a week in Spain. And I was like, oh my God, we've done this and we've done this and we've done this. And it was like,
you came back excited.
Yeah.
The rest is still the same.
Yeah, really hard to get back enough. But that's why I mean, now I'm trying to build my business up so that I can do it remotely and we can go travel. As long as I've got Wi-Fi and my laptop, I can do whatever I do anywhere.
Yes, that's right.
Work. I can do. I've created a group program, which, funny enough, is all about getting people back to basics. It's about understanding the importance of if you don't look after yourself because you're too busy being busy, you're going. These are the psychological and physical issues that are going to start coming about. So the whole program is amazing. Actually, it's full of education content in there, but it's got hypnosis in there. It's got audios. It's got workbooks. It's got somatic tools to help people connect with their mind and body. But I also do like live calls with it as well. So I do it with them basically. And
that's
really,
nice.
really proud of it. But the core of that though is like, come on, you've got to stop being too busy being busy. And that's quite a challenge in itself to actually take time out every week to come and join me on the live call. That's a challenge. And actually go through and do. But once they get in the momentum of it and start doing some of the hypnosis and they start changing the way they feel, then it makes a difference. And then those that need that additional hardcore one-to-ones, and I do that with them as well.
Oh, that's nice. And what is the takeaway for our viewers, especially like, as an entrepreneur? I mean, both of us, we are entrepreneur in business. So, what are the advice will you give to those new startup?
Good question. I would say you need to work on yourself first, actually, right? Because if you haven't really worked on your limiting beliefs or anything, then your likelihood is you're going to fail. That might sound really harsh, but the reality is if you don't believe in yourself and you're fearful of success, fearful of failure, you're anxious, you can't go on camera, you can't meet people because you don't have any confidence, then I'm sorry, your chances are you're not going to be successful because you need to have all of that, right? I don't think I would be where I am now if I hadn't worked on my personal development. People, unfortunately, will spend money on everything else other than working on your personal development. But a nice analogy that I like to use, right? If you imagine, I'm an iPhone girl, right? I think mine's a 15, 14. I don't know what it is. Right, it's not the latest, but it's pretty good. But when this stops working and gets slow and sluggish, what do? I upgrade it. My desktop, once my programs are not working anymore and it's slow, I upgrade it. So why do we think it's okay not to upgrade ourselves and not to upgrade our limiting beliefs so that we can be the best version of ourselves?
That's so powerful.
So there you go. I don't know where that comes from, but that just came out.
You just channeled that.
I did.
I mean, it's so
true,
true.
though, isn't it?
It's
tough.
true.
It's tough being a business owner, and it can be lonely. So the other thing, actually, I would say is make sure you get yourself into groups, like whether it's business groups, training groups, or therapy groups,
so
whatever it is your business. But being around like-minded people, because it's very isolating, and you can get so caught in your business. You need to be working on your business, not be caught in it. So
it's like we need to have leisure also. We can't just focus on the work.
No, absolutely. That's another good point. And I got caught up in that you've got to remember to enjoy the journey, have fun. And that's why, I don't know about you, but that's why I love doing the interviews and things like that. Because sometimes I laugh at the end of the day and I go, what, when we do dinner talk at the end, what did you do today? Well, I did my exercise, and and by about 10 o'clock, I went and got ready. And then, and at 11 o'clock, I did an interview. And then, and then I met someone, and you're like, oh my God, that's so amazing, but it's still work. But, it doesn't have to be the humdrum of work, does it? It can be having fun within work still.
But for me, it's like I love conducting interview. It was because I think that was 2018 that I saw an episode in Impact Theory, and Tom Biyo, he interviewed I think it's John Assaraf. And while I was watching that interview, I told myself, I would like to conduct interview just like Tom Biyo. I have this thought very earlier on. I think that was way back in 2000. I started to step into reading those books. Like the first book that I read was Tuesday with Maurice. I'm not a person that really loves reading book. So I told myself, okay, I will make an effort to go to that bookshop to start reading that book until the end. And I did that.
You actually sat in the bookshop and read it?
Yes, I did that. Because I knew that, if I buy the book, no, I won't read it. So, that is the way that I go to the bookshop and read the book. that at least, gives me gives me that environment, that push to read the whole book. And I love that book.
Because taking time out to read a book is quite hard to carve out of your day, isn't it? I like a lot of audio books now. So when I'm in the car, I'll be listening to an audio book, but you're not always fully focused, are you? If you're in, like you say, in that kind of environment, and maybe you've got a coffee or something, and you're just nice and relaxed. You've given yourself permission. That's the difference, isn't it? Giving yourself permission to take that time out. And that's so important. And that's what I try to ingrain in my client. Give yourself, don't feel guilty about it. It's about that time is important. If you don't look after yourself, it's there. Oh, wait, you'll know this. I love the old plane analogy, don't you? When it's like, if the mask drops, put your mask on first and then help everybody else. It's the same. Right. I use that analogy all the time, but it's so true, isn't it?
Yes.
Because if you're not fit and well and you're not looking after yourself, then how can you help everybody else?
That's right. And that's so true. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. And before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add or any message you want to leave our audience with?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I run a live weekly show, and the idea of that is it's all about grounding, learn and connect. So it's about taking an hour out at the moment I'm running them at Tuesday lunchtime, but I'm trialing it at the moment, so I don't know whether that will change. But the idea is every week I'm going to do a little bit of grounding, a little bit of education. Sometimes I'm going to have guests on that are in the health and wellbeing place. But it's about connecting with the group as well. So anyone who would like to join that, I've got a Facebook group. I've got a group program. If anyone wants to, really work on themselves, come and work in my group program with some like-minded people. But if you need that extra push and you want the one-to-one, then let me know about that too. So really, my whole thing really is about helping people to get back to calmness, to find themselves, find their purpose of passion. And actually, my whole tagline is about becoming unstoppable. So I help people get from stuck to unstoppable.
That's awesome. And that's a great message. We appreciate your time and expertise. Where can our audience find you?
Most of my socials are Millieside Therapy and Coaching, apart from my Instagram, which is Julie Millieside. Not quite sure why, but Julie Millieside. But I've got a YouTube channel. I've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I've got TikTok now, which my niece forced me to do recently. Don't know what I'm doing with it, but I'm all of them pretty much. But yeah, no, apart from Instagram, which is Julie Millieside, everything else is Millieside.
Fantastic. We'll sure include those links in the YouTube description box. Thank you once again for being here on Tuesday with Keiko. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. And to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this interview, please subscribe and leave us a review or share it with others who might find it interesting. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.